Okay, so this video is going to go through odd degree power functions, and odd degree power functions are just polynomials where the highest power is odd. And the key idea is that it's odd if you have your x values and then the negative x values are a reflection in the y and then a reflection in the x. So what do I mean by that is this part here are all my positive y values, okay? And if it was just an even function, it would sort of continue off being symmetric about the y-axis, where the y-axis acts like a mirror. Okay, so this point here would go, so my drawing is not very good, would go to about there, that point would go to there, that point would go to about there. Okay, so it would be this kind of symmetry thing happening. And then you've taken the even function and you've reflected it in the x-axis. So that point there becomes that point there. And that point there becomes that point there. So, you know, your x value, which is negative in this case, has some positive y value, and then it gets transformed to be this, you know, negative y value. Okay, so an odd function is basically this idea of the even function part being reflected in the x-axis. Okay, so let's show what that means with your function notation. So if you substitute in a x value, let's see what happens. So if I put in f of -1, does that equal negative f of 1? So f of -1 is going to give me -1. Does that equal negative times f of 1? Remember, my polynomial here is x cubed. So substituting 1 in here, you get -1. So you can sort of break it up into parts, okay? Make that my positive section, f of x, substituting in x values, and then you have to multiply it by a negative to give you the equivalent when you substitute in negative x. So again, let's do an example. If x was 2, right, let's look at the right hand side first. Subbing in 2, you'd get 8. So f of -2 should give you -8. So let's just check that. F of -2 equals -2 cubed, which equals -2 times -2 times -2, which gives you -8. So basically that function notation there is the definition of a odd function. It also has the property that f of 0 equals 0, and then let's do some funky notation and say as x increases in the positive direction, y also increases in the positive direction, and as x goes towards negative infinity or becomes more and more negative, y also becomes more and more negative. So that's the idea there with those sort of odd functions.